All right, so Ryan, first of all, thanks for joining me here on a Saturday. Wow. All I can say is wow. What a shame, huh? What a shame. Instead of doing a last check-in like we're so used to doing, what a shame. Under these circumstances. You know, you can beat me up, Ryan, if you want to, but I want to say that I saw this coming, but yet I don't want to say that, if you know what I mean. Um, but look, I know that it's big news. I get it, but I didn't think it was that big of a news. And let me tell you why, because I think it's very interesting. The one big takeaway as far as speaking on this podcast, man. So let me back up to last night. You told me, Phil, I got a text message from you, Phil, the game is postponed on Sunday. I said, what are you talking about? Postponed? And you said because of the lack of not enough players on the roster, not enough healthy players. Well, they need like 7. They're required to have 7, and
Right.
you need 6. Or excuse me, you need 7, and they have 6.
They only have 6.
So with that said, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, all right, maybe we can still have a last check-in video, Ryan, tomorrow, which was last night. So that was Saturday. Today was Saturday. And then I go, So then I wake up this morning and I pull up the ESPN app. And understand, this is not only under the NCAA women's tab. This is under top headlines. All right. So I'm glad you told me. You said, no, Phil, we need to cover this. Because not only, Ryan, then I'll let you go. This was under top headlines. Okay. Top headlines. So I find it weird sometimes in sports. Don't you find it weird, Ryan, how you don't even have to put a foot on the court, but yet you're under the top headlines? It's amazing. It is amazing. UConn lacking 7 healthy players, forced to postpone DePaul game. And my one takeaway, because obviously we're speaking on the podcast on behalf of all of our subscribers, do you want to know what I found very interesting? We received not 2, not 3, one comment and one person's intake regarding the news that we're talking about. And I found that very interesting. Not saying anything good. I'm not saying anything bad. All I'm saying is, Ryan, we received one person's opinion about a game being postponed.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's really interesting because there's been a lot of things this week, unfortunately, that it's probably the first time that we're ever seeing it. So a lot of unknowns, a lot of questions. I'm pretty much speechless when it comes to this team, and
I think a lot of other people are too, what I just told you.
the amount of I mean, I would assume they would comment on this video since we're talking about.
Oh, I know they will. Oh, you can bet they will, Ryan. You already know it, but go ahead, sir. I will stop right there.
Yeah, so I mean, the Big East, hopefully they're going to be able to reschedule this game. Next meeting with DePaul is in Chicago on February 25th. So I'm not sure if they're going to. I mean, I would assume they probably have to schedule it before then. But we'll see. UConn's next game is still scheduled to be next Wednesday, the 11th at St. John's. Hope at least one more player is available for that game to meet the minimum of 7. They've already had to play with 7 players a couple of times this season, but Aaliyah Edwards and Ayanna Patterson are the 2 new ones, and the reason why UConn only had 6 healthy players. Aaliyah Edwards, like I mentioned in the game recap, got injured in the Xavier game. Her right foot, she didn't play the second half. New injury, of course, is Ayanna Patterson. This UConn didn't have any specifics on Ayanna or Aaliyah's injury, so I'm not sure what's wrong with Ayanna, to be honest. I haven't seen or heard anything. Caroline Ducharme, of course, is still out with a concussion. Hopefully she's able to go Wednesday. Azzi's resumed basketball activities, warming up with the team. But we don't know when she's officially going to be able to suit up again. Ice Brady and Paige, of course, obviously they have been out since the season started, both having season-ending injuries. And Aaliyah Edwards became the 9th Husky to miss time during a game this season on Thursday night. If Ayanna would miss that game on Wednesday, assuming that game doesn't get postponed, she would become the 10th Husky out of 12 on this team to miss time this season. So, I mean, it's really just unbelievable what UConn's going through right now, because I'm kind of laughing to myself. And I was kind of laughing last night because, of course, the first 2 years we covered this team,
Mhm.
so many things have happened that we've
Yeah.
never seen before. So,
And, we
uh,
actually, it's interesting because you and I, especially me, we take the heat. But like I told you a couple episodes ago, it's not your fault and it's not my fault.
yeah, well, I mean, that just comes with the job, right? You got to take some of the heat sometimes, and we love it. But this year and last year, so many obstacles ranging from injuries, illnesses, travel problems, Gino missing games, Chris Daly passing out on the court. So I mean, it's just one thing after another. And I don't really have any words to describe what UConn, what this team's going through right now. I just hope that we get to see the day where this team becomes fully healthy, if that's
Yeah.
possible, and all the coaches are healthy and able to coach again. But it seems like we're a long way from that happening right now.
And that's even brings down the percentage chance of actually winning the national title this year. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to label it, excuse me, as one of the biggest, if not the biggest, greatest comeback stories, Cinderella stories, whatever you want to label it. If, just if, that word if, they were able to win it all this year, if they do, it would definitely, and yes, I would admit it because I'm admitting it right now to you and everybody else, it would be the greatest comeback story in all of sports, professional, college, because of what you just said. Look at everything that's going on, man. And I tell you, I mean, this right here is just another sign that, well, stuff might be pointing down in March, but yet, hey, maybe again, they may surprise us, just like they have so many times in recent years, and especially when you and I have been covering um, this team on this podcast. But I wanted to ask you, Ryan, what's your analysis? What's your take on March? If we don't want to see it happen, but just if in March that this happens again, to me, and I'm not going to name any specific names of players, coaches, and I'm not bringing this UConn Huskies school down. I'm not, because I get it. They can't help it. These players are
No.
injured. They can't help it. I get that. But the question I have for you, when it comes time to March, what head coach will put up with this? What players will put up with this? What the whole organization, I guess the whole coaching staff, how many times can you actually put up with, and again, it's not the Huskies' fault. You're looking at a fully healthy squad on this corner, of the arena, and, a squad with only 6 players on the other corner. So what I'm saying is, yes, all signs are looking up come March. I'm sure we won't have this problem again. But I'm sitting back thinking to myself, I'm like, it's a good thing. It's a damn good thing that this did not happen in March, because I'm just questioning. And maybe you'll tell me, well, it's okay, Phil. They'll just postpone it like they do every other game. What if they don't?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume if it would happen in March, I don't think the game would get postponed. I think they would probably have to forfeit. I can't
Mm,
see in the March Madness bracket, if they would only have 6 healthy players, that they would be able to play, and I don't see how the game would be able to get postponed. But yeah, I mean, I was gonna say the same thing. If somehow UConn is if they're able to to win the national championship this year and battle through March like we saw last season, get back to the championship and actually win it, I would be speechless. I honestly don't know what I would do at that point if they won it this year, just with everything that they've gone through. I think we all knew how bad it was with the injuries, but I don't think any of us ever saw it becoming this bad where, the point half the team is
yeah.
out and we have to start postponing games.
Comments. I love them. I love them. I love them. Keep them coming. Remember, no negativity on this podcast. Keep all negative comments out of here, please. Let's go over one. Ryan, please do a solo gig. Phil only brings you down. Brilliant analysis and wears your hat. Laugh out loud. Well, that's why I read it, Ryan, because the truth speaks on Listen Up. I speak the truth. Tell me if I don't, Ryan. And I want to make sure to ask you, do I bring you down?
Well, to me, certainly not.
No, thank you. I just want to make sure that we weren't, if something wasn't going on behind the scenes. I wanted to keep it all nice and professional, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, like I've told you multiple times, having you on with me relieves a lot of stress, and I can't imagine doing it by myself because that would be really, really stressful. So, I love having you on, and I enjoy doing the podcast with you, of course. And going through this journey. What a journey it's been that for about 2 years now covering this team. But like I said before we came on, you said, "Are you gonna put your hat on?" I said, it's funny because when I do wear the hat, nobody likes it. But then when I don't wear the hat, everybody asks where it is. So I can't win with the hat. But hopefully, I ordered a new camera, so hopefully that comes soon, and
Okay.
hopefully that fixes all the issues with the hats and the lights and everything else in between that.
All right, Jason D'Amico. And again, we know the real subs we know the real viewers from the ones compared to the ones that do not tune in all the time. So we want to thank everybody for that matter. But we get it. We can see the real subs and the real viewers out there and the real UConn Huskies fans. Jason D'Amico, I think I'm going to sacrifice a cow or something. These injuries are getting crazy. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea, but yeah, I mean, I'm just speechless because like I said, I don't think any of us ever thought it would be this bad. So, I think the only thing we can do is just hope that from today, which is Saturday, until Tuesday or Wednesday when the game is, that one or two more players can heal up and are available for the St. John's game. But let's hope and pray that we don't have to postpone any more games.
Update, and this goes directly into the video that we're recording today, this evening rather. Grobel goes, update, UConn game versus DePaul postponed since UConn doesn't have the league minimum 7 players. Injuries, Caroline, AZ, Aaliyah, Ayana, newly added from last game. Yeah, that's a lot of big names right there.
Yeah, and like I said with Ayana, I'm honestly not really sure what her injury is because she looked fine in that game. She's looked really good the past couple games where Chris Daly has been putting in the subs a lot more. Amari and Ness and Ayana. Ayana's been doing a terrific job, in my opinion, being aggressive and playing defense, getting rebounds, all those things. So yeah, I mean, I was kind of shocked to see Ayana Patterson being injured, put on the report. So I don't really think anybody knows what's wrong with Ayanna Patterson now. And I was hoping Aaliyah Edwards, the right foot, or I think it was the right foot, but I was hoping that injury wasn't serious, but it turns out that obviously she had to miss one game. So hopefully she doesn't have to miss a lot more.
And one more, Ryan, because this actually goes into maybe they will have some extra time. Maybe this happened for a good reason because maybe they can study up on this one specifically strong player, if you will. I get a feeling sometimes they say some of the best players in the nation, dirty players. Well, I get it. I get it. Sometimes they may, but that's not saying all the time, Ryan. Like an elbow to the face. Maybe it was really an accident. Maybe they didn't mean it. I'm just saying. John goes, Morrow is an extremely dirty player and caught Caroline Ducharme with an elbow to the head last year. So Ryan, I mean, I wasn't aware of it. And again, I'm not taking up for either side. I'm just saying maybe it was accidental or maybe it was intentional.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll never know, right? But yeah, I mean, speaking about that, I mean, basketball, you don't really think of it as too rough of a sport, but when people are driving to the lane and trying to take charges and blocking shots, it can become a little rough down there in the painted area at times and in that circle. So yeah, but I mean, Morrow, speaking about her averaging a double-double, she did it during her freshman year, sophomore year, now still averaging a double-double. So going into this game, I was hoping that Aaliyah Edwards would be able to play to guard her down low. So I guess we don't have to worry about that anymore. But certainly, I think that whenever UConn plays DePaul at some point this season, they're going to have to focus the game plan around stopping Anissa Morrow, because she's certainly a very, very good player and leads DePaul in just about every stat.
I know I keep saying one more. They're all good. We appreciate everybody coming through. Marianne M goes, and again, you all like Ryan's analysis and his answers. Let's see if this one throws you off, Ryan. Do UConn women suffer more injuries than other teams? If yes, why? well,
that's a mystery. I don't think anybody...
get your a glass ball out, Ryan, and see if we have an answer for that.
I mean, that's a mystery
ball.
I don't think anybody can solve, and I wish I could solve it and find the answer somewhere, but I don't think we can. But to answer the question, I mean, I would say yes. I mean, this year, I don't see how any other team could be going through more injuries than what UConn is right now. And it's pretty incredible that they've only lost 2 games, which was the 2 pretty good opponents, a top 5 and a top 15, where they're ranked right now. So, I mean, with all the injuries UConn's already had to deal with and only having 2 losses, it's pretty incredible, because I don't really think a lot of other teams could do that with how many players that have been injured. But I mean, like I said, I mean, six injured players out of the 12 on the roster. I don't think any team has gone through quite what UConn's going through right now.
And I don't know what you had in your mailbag this weekend, Ryan, but headed into this weekend, I looked in my mailbag and it said, Phil, keep the positivity up, stay positive about this UConn Huskies team. I'm trying my best, man, and I will. And I just want to make one point clear, on a positive note. That is, when you look at South Carolina, Stanford, Ohio State, Notre Dame, man, you see, with the exception of Notre Dame, and we will also count Notre Dame in just because UConn has done the same feat here recently, won 6 in a row. 6 in a row. So Notre Dame has won 6 in a row. Connecticut has won 6 in a row. Ohio State has won 16 in a row. Stanford, 10 in a row. South Carolina has won 15 in a row. South Carolina, 15 in a row. So, and then let me tell you, Ryan, LSU has won 15 in a row. Look, you know what? If you're asking yourself, all right, Phil, what's your point? My point is, Ryan, all good things come to an end. All right. So if UConn, you're right. If UConn can just get healthy at the right time, man, if you want me to be honest with you, I think you may agree with me. These long winning streaks come March, they don't seem all that pretty to me when it comes time to play March Madness basketball, only because how many times in the past 5-10 years have we seen so many huge upsets? Winning streaks to me are not that pretty in NCAA sports. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about how you can take momentum into the tournament, and I would agree with that. All a mental mindset, I think, but that just goes to prove, and I think it's a good thing that we're seeing more and more upsets each and every year.
Mm-hmm.
It just proves a lot more teams are getting better and better, which is good to see for the sport itself. So, but like you said, I mean, Angel Reese is balling for LSU. We knew South Carolina was going to be pretty good again with the Leah Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State, pretty good team, and Notre Dame has already beat UConn. So there's definitely a lot of teams that are going to be pretty good. We talk about seeding, who's going to get the 1 seed for March Madness. Still got a long way to go until that happens, but there's certainly a lot better teams out there. So it should be really, really interesting as we get further and further and closer to March.
Yeah, maybe these teams are doing all their winning now, and then maybe UConn can, matter of fact, Ryan, save their winning for March. How's that?
That sounds pretty good. Yeah.
When it counts that much more. Ryan, what did you tell me one time? Maybe these UConn women's basketball team, maybe the Lady Huskies. You told me one time, especially in March, you said, Phil, double your money and make a stack. We all know, Ryan, that you're counting on March. And I'll let you go, man. We will count on you for Wednesday on the last check-in against St. John's. Phil and Rye on Listen Up.